Hi, everybody. My name is Nathan. I work here at Encompass Community Services. So glad you've joined us today. We have a very special guest to talk about their experience and advice with mental health and tuning in. Let me introduce to you Tony McManus. Tony works at the Geelong Community Foundation. He's an advocate for Beyond Blue, Are You OK, Headspace, and most recently Connect to Grow, which is a pipeline for people interested in volunteering but aren't sure where to start. Where the ethos is the best exercise you can do is to help somebody who is down to get up. Hi, Tony. Thank you for your time today talking about mental health, your experiences, and your advocacy for these great initiatives. Tony, you've become a very powerful advocate in increasing awareness and reducing the stigma in mental health issues, particularly in depression. Can I start by asking you what drove you in wanting to help others?
Hi, Nathan, and thanks for the chance to engage with you guys at Encompass, and particularly like the promotion that you're doing. So well done for all the work that you've put into it, and having people like myself come in a bit of a chat about mental health, because it's always important to increase awareness and reduce stigma, and this kind of storytelling really helps with that focus. My engagement initially with mental health was due to the unfortunate passing of my younger brother, who took his own life back in 2005. At that point in time, I was working at the real estate office in Lara, and Mick was one of the guys in my sales team. So unfortunately, not only did I lose a brother, I also lost a workmate, and it had a huge impact on our community. And at the same time, I wasn't really comfortable sharing at that point in time, but I was also struggling with my own mental health. So, but in the aftermath of losing Mick, I kept my kind of challenges well undercover, because I didn't want to worry people about thinking there could be two potential suicides in the one family. Mick's widow made a really where she suggested that we should support organisations like Blue and help them. So I did a bit of research and found out all about increasing awareness and reducing stigma. So I thought, well, with my connections in Geelong, I should be able to help do something about that. So I had a chat to Frank Costa at Geelong Football Club and proposed to Frank that we get Geelong to play against another team in an AFL Beyond Blue Cup. Frank was all over it, and no prizes for who he picked on for the other team, Hawthorn, given that Jeff Kennett was the chairman of Hawthorn, also president or chairman of Beyond Blue. So that's kind of where I put my toe in the water, mate.
Oh, nice. Well, we also mentioned Connect to Grow, and thank you for sharing your stories. I know that sometimes it can be very close to your heart, so sharing does help to show everyone that it is about tuning in. Now, with Connect to Grow and how isolation can be combated with social connection, I think today's message is more important than ever, especially with the current unprecedented circumstances around COVID. Can you explain how volunteering and encouraging more volunteers to engage with charities and organisations helps people who are suffering with mental issues?
Sure. Something that I suppose I stumbled across from my own experience. I found that helping other people was giving me a bit of a buzz, a bit of a high, and it's also a very technical thing, mate. I call it a warm, fuzzy feeling. So it's actually a physiological thing that happens to your body when you help other people. You don't see too many people who volunteer without a smile on their face. So I thought, there's something in this. So to give you a bit of an understanding how this fits in with mental health, this shows problem factors that might lead to mental health issues, and very relevant at the moment is this issue of isolation, loneliness and disconnection, particularly through what we're dealing with the coronavirus. On the flip side, in terms of solution factors, social connection is a huge thing. We're all social animals, and we can't do that as well as we'd normally like to do it at the moment. We can still reach out, and just like we're doing today using social media is a good way of adapting and overcoming the inability to go and have a coffee with friends in a local shop. So hopefully that makes sense. We're trying to tackle, that's the problem we're trying to tackle, and the solution that we're working on, or at least my niche, is social connection through volunteering and mentoring. So Connect to Grow is simply a Facebook platform, and on that Facebook platform I share stories about people I've either volunteered personally or I've met, And must admit, I'm a bit of a fan of the cover boy there, Father Bob Maguire. I met Father Bob when I was living in St Kilda and had the privilege of helping him do some volunteering with cooking food for the homeless and the addicts in the St Kilda area. Very humbling experience, very uplifting. So I thought, if I could share stories like that, that would be just provide people a bit of a guide, a bit of a hint about where you can help other people in the first instance, but you're also helping yourself through the growth of your, the perspective you get, the gratitude you'll get, and the empathy that you identify. It's just an unbelievable thing. So if I suggest just jump on the contact us button if my stories don't resonate, and that will directly link you to the search engine for Go Volunteer, which is the biggest volunteer database in the country. And I like to share stories about volunteering. I think sometimes people have perceptions about or stereotypes about what it's about, but you can do things just a one-off event to put your toe in the water to see how you go. You might do it through school, through work, environmental. This is a big thing, volunteering in an emergency. And I recently did a presentation where the day after the presentation, a fellow where I referred to giving farmers a hand in Gippsland after the recent bushfires, I had this amazing email that I just might quote from you. Towards the end of 2019, I suffered a relationship breakup, and then although I didn't learn of this news until sometime later, a close friend of mine passed away after battling melanoma, which sadly spread and could not be treated. I was in a pretty bleak place, truth be told, but after a conversation with my sister about the bushfires that were causing widespread devastation at the time, I decided to go and volunteer at the Blaze Aid site in Lexington, Victoria. It was one of the best decisions that I could have made. Working hard, out in the fresh air with people from all walks of life, started to give me a bit of perspective, and I really think that it was during this time that I started to show the first signs of recovery. So how's that for an amazing example of helping others, but helping yourself? So it's been a great opportunity to, like I say, meet people like Father Bob, who's awesome. And also just some other quick stories. I'm interested in military history. So I was doing some volunteering in New Guinea, and we thought we may have found a lost digger from World War II. We weren't sure how to go about it. So I thought I might chase up this fella, Lambus Angelos, who found the 200 lost diggers at Fromelles in France back a few years ago. And he gave me some advice about how to engage with the government, like the Unrecovered Casualties Unit at the Australian Army and organisations like that. But one of the great things was that he recognised that I was passionate about mental health. And he said, I want to introduce you to somebody else who is also passionate about mental health. So that was this fellow on the left, a guy by the name of Dean Mile. Now, you couldn't get more of an odd couple matching, where I was a failed Liberal candidate from the state election in 2014, and Dean used to be one of the most radical unionists in the state as the state secretary of the electrical trades union. So, on face value, you think we would never have much to do with each other. But Lambus recognised our joint passion in mental health, so he just introduced us. And a great introduction, I might add. You might say we're eating oysters at South Melbourne Market before the lockdown. And after a chat with Dean, I soon found out that where I live in Backs Marsh, just up the road at Trentham, he has 20 acres. And because he's interested in horses, he's been able to combine his passion for horses into helping other people. So he runs a charity called The Path of the Horse and provides equine therapy for initial target was veterans with post-traumatic stress. But I've learned that post-traumatic stress can cut across a whole wide range of people out in the community. And he also does a bit of support for kids with autism. So what a wonderful outlet to combine a hobby with helping other people. So it's been a great pleasure to meet Dean and catch up with him occasionally. And also you have a bit of fun with volunteering. It's one of the things I really enjoy doing is helping volunteer in a program called L2P, where you help kids who come from a disadvantaged background whose parents may not have a car their parents don't drive, to get their licence, which is such an important thing for their independence. And I'm about 80 hours into the 120 hours with young Harris here. Unfortunately, we've been on hold since March because of the lockdown. And also, just a quick fun example, you might recognise this fella on the right. There's Hugh Jackman, and Hugh is the national patron of an organisation that I was the Geelong branch president of, the Fight Cancer Foundation. So I just actually bumped into him by accident in Bondi, but because I had that link with his charity, and I had met him before, the following week after bumping into him, we had a function in Geelong, and I said, do you mind recording a video shout out to all the guys at the Geelong function? So hopefully that's just a little bit of a example of it's not just a mental health solution, it can also be fun, and you just create this win-win scenario of you're having fun, you're helping someone else, but you're also pumping up your own self-esteem and boosting your own resilience. So yeah, so hopefully that makes sense, mate.
Yeah, by all means, that's a series of really, really great sort of initiatives and resources and everything, especially about just connecting with people, tuning in. And like you said, you know, your contact button on the page for Connect to Grow is for the volunteer program to actually go and take a look at a few different elements of ways people can connect. With this month being for mental health month, and the focus being tuning in, that sort of means, or at least from what I feel it means sort of being present and being aware of what's happening around you and the world around you. And I believe it's really important to stop, listen, and sort of focus in on the real issues at hand, which I think is a great way of doing it via volunteering. So apart from checking out the Facebook page, how can people connect to your programs and, you know, get involved in volunteering to help themselves and help others?
Yeah, well, I suppose I don't actually run a formal program per se. I kind of treat myself as just pointing people in the right direction of how they can connect. So it's a really simple premise: volunteer, help other people, and I suppose I provide a bit of a window through Connect to Grow, but also there's some great institutions out there like Rotary, who I've been a member of for a long time, and it's through Rotary that probably helped fuel this interest in the fun side volunteering, particularly volunteer tourism. So I'd be suggesting connect with maybe a local Rotary club where if you just want to put your toe in the water, you might just do some local stuff, but you also have the opportunity to do a bit of what I call volunteer tourism, where you could potentially go overseas and have an amazing experience and get that same wow factor or same impact of helping other people. But while you're on it could be a good way of doing it. So it's probably getting back to that phrase that you quoted a bit earlier. The best exercise you can do is to help somebody else who's down to get up. And that's just a really simple premise. If someone's struggling, you help them get up again. They're off in the right direction. You feel good about yourself. It's probably a simple thing that you can do is what I call just random acts of kindness. And it's such a simple thing to do. You get the same impact. And so if you try and make that a bit of a habit, so rather than having any formal programs, I suppose I'm just trying to shine the spotlight on the simple stuff you can do. You don't have to sign up for anything. You can just try. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense.
It does indeed, Thank you again. And if you're watching this live, please post your comments and questions below. Tony will be here for the next half an hour to an hour to answer any questions you may have about connecting to grow and about volunteering to sort of help yourself and help others. Thank you all for coming. Stay safe, everyone, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next video.